Slamdown is sponsored by BODYSLAM and Jam, and WWE Smack Talks and Impact Fan Nation. Welcome to another live episode of Slamdown Livestream. Today we're going to be covering everything Impact Wrestling. As normal, it's me, your host Ashley Friend, with Charles, and we're going to be digging into the Impact Wrestling India.
Hello, everybody. Broadcasting from outside today. It's a beautiful day. Nice, warm. So say, why not? Come on out here. It's good to be here with you all today. How you doing, Ashley? It's a good morning for me and probably good afternoon for you.
Oh yeah, it is. The weather's lovely. I'm just still trying to get used to doing a show at this time because at my end it's normally at night.
Right, exactly. Normally it's like the afternoon on Sunday, but Sunday is such a busy time for me. Fans, Slamdown and Impact Wrestling fans. That's my day to, get everything done, business and everything, because throughout the week I'm working. So just had to try to do something more convenient, and Monday morning is more convenient for me, guys. I appreciate it. Everybody bearing with me. Yeah.
One thing I'm actually thinking about doing, and I'm thinking about bringing it to Slamdowns, is doing awards for certain, like Overachiever, Best Newcomer for not just Impact Wrestling, but for wrestling in general. And one award that I think we should do is Dumbass of the Year, and I think we should do that award and give it to David Meltzer. I think he deserves it.
He definitely deserves it because he'd try anything. It's crazy. Did you see the latest news where he tried to say that they paid Indian fans to come to the tapings? They tried to say they're directing them who to cheer, who to boo, and all this stuff. Did you see that article?
Yeah, I did. I've seen a lot of it because I saw it on a lot of pro wrestling groups as well, where people were sharing it around saying that Indian fans were paid to come to the tapings and stuff like this. I'm sorry, but if a crowd is paid, they wouldn't have been as loud. They wouldn't have been doing the songs. They wouldn't have been doing all the cheering. David Meltzer, the best thing he ever does is talk out of his arse.
That is the best thing. He just wants to bash and down Impact Wrestling. We have Indian fans that attended the tapings and Impact Fan Nation that confirmed that is all a lie. That they were not paid, that everything was genuine, that none of that David Meltzer said is fact at all. All of it's false. So, it's just horrible. It's sad. And take that one, David Meltzer, because we have true Impact fans all over the world that would definitely denounce the word, the crap that you speak.
Oh yeah, definitely. The only rumour that I could probably believe is that Vince Russo's working for the WWE and he's the one that booked the kendo stick on a pole match. I can believe that, but I don't believe anything that anything that revolves around him or stories that come from him, I don't believe them. Because I don't think there's been many stories that have come true. The amount of times he said, Impact's going out of business. Yep, Tino's shutting down. I'm sorry, we're still here and we're still standing.
Right, he's even gone as far to say that they got like a month left and this and that, and like funding's not going to be made for sudden set taping and whatever, and it's never true. It never comes to pass. And Impact Wrestling is now in a time of growth instead of going down the drain like he said so very many times.
And it's like we've always had a lot of stories coming out saying, oh, the locker room's like this, it's like that, it's all, everybody in the locker room's in bad moods, it's all terrible, which we know is bullcrap because Amber Nova, for example, who made her debut on Impact Wrestling, when we did that interview, she said, she said how welcoming everybody was and how good the locker room was.
Exactly. Every Impact star that's come out to speak on the locker room always talks about the morale is good in the locker room, that there is no tension and things like that. I mean, it's hard to believe anything that David Meltzer says, especially when it comes to Impact Wrestling. I think maybe part or half of his job is to bash Impact or something. Maybe he's a mole for the WWE, or he works for them and just does everything he can to to kiss their ass and try to bury Impact Wrestling.
It is. It's that people seem to like bash Impact for anything. It annoys the crap out of me because Impact has done a lot of, even in the past to now, Impact has done a lot of good for the wrestling business. If you think about a lot of wrestlers that did leave the WWE, that were sort of nobodies. They come to Impact and they're made into great stars. The best example I can ever give is Christian Cage.
Big, great example. WWE wanted him back because the way the Impact used him. They used him really, really good because Christian Cage has always had a nice moveset. He's always been a good wrestler, but, you were never able to get that aside from tag team matches in the WWE. They never gave him a singles push that he deserved, that they never felt like he could take the ball and run with it, and Impact Wrestling showed differently. It's all about creative booking, and I get it to Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett, he's really good about booking. I mean, you just got to give it to him. He's good at booking, and it's been going on since then. Christian Cage went over there, made a name for himself. Well, I mean, it even goes as far as back to R-Truth. He's a two-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion, and before when he was in WWE as K-Quick, he was a complete jobber, dancing around with the whole stereotypical gimmick that, WWE likes to give people based upon a race. And that goes with all races, not just black people, goes with Hispanic, goes with Asian, people of Asian descent and everything. They're pretty good about doing that. So, and then, of course, when he goes back to WWE after he shows what he can do in Impact Wrestling, what you get a U.S. title run for a little second, and then back to Jobberville. So,
it's because if you look at R-Truth now, it's like he's back to that old jobbing routine.
Exactly, it's the same thing. You get they did the same thing with Monty Brown. Monty Brown was hot in Impact Wrestling. He was on the title scene. He was very popular, one of the most popular wrestlers at the time, TNA. And then you bring him over to WWE to their crap brand ECW, the fake ECW, as Marcus Corvon, and he goes directly down into the cellar. He's became a bottom feeder. So that's what WWE's been doing for a long time with Impact Wrestling, getting Impact Wrestling's top stars, and they're just now giving them runs and giving them some kind of push in WWE. Beforehand, they would all go over there to the job. Yeah. Now you got now you can't really do that anymore because these stars are international stars that come to Impact Wrestling, because Impact Wrestling has always had the stars wrestling in other countries and in the independents and stuff like that, so their names are big. You can't job Bobby Roode. You can't job AJ Styles. They're doing it to Eric Young, but there's just certain ones you just can't do it to because their name is already so big. Samoa Joe, another. The name is already so big, and not within just WWE. These are wrestlers that are known outside of WWE because, most fans in the bubble only know about about WWE. But some of these wrestlers transcend wrestling in some ways.
Yeah, And I totally agree with you. It is only recently, you look at AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Eric Young being used correctly for once.
Yeah.
And it's like people bury Impact Wrestling. If there was no Impact Wrestling, if there was no TNA, there would be no Samoa Joe. There would be no AJ Styles. It's the same thing if you go back further. If you look at even WCW, the amount of big stars, like even Triple H, for example, came through WCW. The WWE's, a lot of their big stars came through other companies.
Oh yeah, no doubt. They haven't really built stars. It's never really been their thing. They always just normally, it started that way. Vince McMahon taking wrestlers from other territories to build the big monopoly of WWE. So that's the history of it from day one. You grab the biggest stars from everywhere else and make your product. That's the way they do it. That's their top stars now have been taken from other places such as Ring of Honor, stuff like that. Seth Rollins, like we just spoke of Samoa Joe. Bobby Roode, AJ Styles, and all of them. The only person that I guess would say is original right now is their part-timer, Brock Lesnar. And that's, he's a part-timer, just like I said. Former Universal Champion Kevin Owens, Ring of Honor.
Precisely.
Precisely.
Right. There's only two I can think of. I know you said Brock, but Randy Orton. I can't think of anybody else that did not come through the indie scenes.
Right, everybody else did, so hey, it's not where the ratings are they're diminishing, so people are starting to know. They're starting to see, the real deal.
Oh yeah, it's like I call at the minute what WWE are going through. I actually call it Dixie Carter syndrome, where it is they have good matches, but the storytelling's bad. Quite a few bad gimmicks, and that's what Impact went through.
Right.
So, you never know. Vince might have hired Dixie Carter and felt sorry for her. There you go. It could be Dixie Carter and Vince Russo booking Raw. It'd explain a lot.
Could be what's going on.
But one thing that I think Impact did brilliantly is even when they were advertising the Indian tour, they always put down, we did it first.
Right, and that's smart. Let it be known. I mean, because everyone doesn't know. You got a lot of young fans that are just getting into wrestling or have, been in the whole Cena era where, from ages, I guess, 6-year-olds on up to probably 14 or something like that, to where all they know is, WWE, Cena, and all that old stuff and don't know the history of wrestling, what's going on. So yeah, make people knowledgeable, understand that this is history break. It's groundbreaking. This is history made. This is the first televised show of a major wrestling company, especially in India. It's big. It's really, really big. So let the world know. WWE didn't do it first. We did. Impact Wrestling did this first, and look what WWE is trying to do. Copy. They're trying to follow in the footsteps. So, and that's big. That'd be known, advertise it so that when WWE comes, they can't claim to be the first to do it like they always try to do. WWE claims to be the first to do everything. So.
Yeah, they did. That's why, the whole title reign with Jinder Mahal was done at a certain time to make sure that he was a champion and try and pull the Indians into that before the Indian tapings were on TV. It was all done on purpose. Because I've even seen a couple of people putting comments on that when I can't say this because I don't want to spoil it. How can I put this?
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. They're going to say, because that person's a champion, they've copied WWE because they've made that a certain person a champion. When actually, no, it's the other way around. WWE has been copying Impact. And WWE's done it for years. When the Riot Family Compound was a total rip-off of Final Deletion, and even an ex-WWE star came out and said they got an early copy of Final Deletion from Chris Jericho, from Matt, and they all sat backstage and watched it before it even aired. So the WWE was already aware of what was coming.
They enjoyed it. They laughed about it. They told Cena about it, and Cena said to please make sure he watches that because he was busy, or doing something the first time. Then that they viewed it. And yeah, they knew what was going on. They knew exactly like in with the whole Ambrose Asylum match.
Yep.
They said they were the first one to do that kind of match. Incorrect. That's we all know that comes from Impact Wrestling from TNA, from the Asylum days.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's WWE have done it for years. WWE will not stop doing it. The only thing recently that's really annoyed me, and it's partly down to Impact, is they didn't trademark the Destroyer name. They should have trademarked the Destroyer, Bobby Lashley. Because now the WWE have just nicked that off them, and Impact can't do anything about it.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. The Destroyer was a better name than Walking Armageddon. So yeah, it sucks they can't use it anymore.
Oh yeah, it's but it was just one of those things, I think now with trademarking stuff, I think Impact are spot on it, especially with Anthem now. They want to make sure everything's trademarked. Even if you look at the Hardy gimmick now, the whole Broken Universe, and I know people are still arguing about it now, but I'm sorry, but Impact leaked the contract, showed the area where it said the rules, and it showed that anything done in Impact Wrestling and on Impact Wrestling television belongs to Impact.
Right.
But I've got to admit now, Impact is in the best place. Even with this Indian tour, the fans are flipping crazy.
They are. They're. It's a madhouse in there, and it's really good to see.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's I've got to say they're more noisy than the actual Impact Zone.
Easily, yeah, they are. The Impact Zone has gotten better, though. I got to definitely give them that. They have been more adamant, and they have been more into the shows, which I'm very happy about. And hopefully they'll take a cue from the Indian fans, and maybe want to upstage and show them that we American fans can give a hell of a show just as well. But the Indian fans, they were definitely spot on. Without a doubt, they were like, it reminded me of kind of like the UK and like the Indies, how they latch on to every single move, from boos to yays, from simple slaps, chest slaps, what have them excited. I mean, it was great. It was really good to see. They were totally into it. The wrestlers, the talents were able to interact and get reactions every single time. Every single time. I mean, from the "This is awesome" chants, it got really loud one time. When the "This is awesome" chant, it was a really incredible crowd. Like when they were in, you could see the people jumping up and down, like just the excitement, and everyone was like they were really happy to have wrestling, a major wrestling company in India, and you can see it. You can they were excited, and it was cool to see. It was good to see that you had really genuine people outside of the United States. That people need to see that, because like you said, we're bigger than WWE. Impact Wrestling is bigger than WWE outside of the United States, and of course people in the United States can't see that, when Impact Wrestling showed that, or but in India they showed that. For everybody that tuned in, they definitely saw that, and the people that are going to tune in on social media, which is a whole lot, thanks to Jeff Jarrett. That's Jeff Jarrett and Anthem, of course. And they're going to see how big Impact Wrestling is outside of the United States. But they used to see it in the United Kingdom. United Kingdom shows. Every show in the United Kingdom, Impact Wrestling, is always incredible. The crowd is always nuts, and the crowd is always so vibrant, and just they just wow me every single time. And it's good to see that in India just as well. I'll be glad when Impact Wrestling does go back to the United Kingdom.
Oh, yeah, same here. Because they were selling out Wembley Arena. They were selling out. I couldn't even get tickets to it. It was that quickly sold out. And even when they were in Scotland at the is it SC Arena, they sold that out. What to me was quite funny is when the WWE went to that arena, the WWE didn't sell it out. Only Impact did.
Right. In Impact Wrestling? You mean the Hydro?
That's it, the Hydro.
Yeah, SSC Hydro. Yeah, yeah, they sold the Hydro out. And the Hydro's the big arena. I can only think of Impact Wrestling ICW selling out the Hydro.
Yep. That's true. I forgot about ICW sold that out.
Yeah, they had Fear and Loathing 4, wasn't it? Or
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was last Fear and Loathing they had. It was at the Hydro. That was the first time ICW was at the Hydro. But anyway, let's get back on Impact.
I was going to say, I found it a bit weird that we didn't see commentators at the side of the ring. That they had the commentators backstage. I didn't quite kind of get why they did that. And they didn't even... The one thing, they didn't even explain why Pope wasn't there either.
Right. I wondered about that, why it was Josh and JB. I get it for storyline purposes, but I still would have liked to know what was going on with Pope, 100%. Yeah, the commentators from the back. I guess maybe it's because maybe the setup for. I mean, I don't know how the arena was set up. Maybe there was no room. I mean, because it did look like the cage was pretty close to the ring. Yeah. If you notice that when they got outside, when the wrestlers were outside, I would probably think it has something to do with logistics of the arena, because I remember when Impact Wrestling tried to have the remember when they did the whole rebranding again, and they had the commentators in a separate place outside the arena, supposedly backstage, but we come to find out that they pre-recorded their commentary, which was not good. I'm glad they got away from that.
Oh, you definitely.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that was bad. I didn't like that. No.
Even when they did that whole tournament thing as well, and you'd see them there, and then it'd pull to the ring, then back to them two standing in front of this green screen. It was like, all right, okay.
That wasn't wrestling. Wrestling needs commentators right there, in action, live with it. None of that other backstage crap. So hopefully they get away. Probably not for the whole Indian tapings. I'm pretty sure they did that the whole time. But I know they'll probably get back to it when they get to the Impact Zone in Orlando.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah, we do need to know what's going on with Pope, though. I agree with you.
It might be simple as a visa. It could be anything, but it would have been nice to be informed about what's going on. Or are they going to bring Pope in later? You know, there was no mention of it, and I felt that was the bad part. Mm-hmm. They should have mentioned it, even if it was just on Twitter, to let us know. I'm still surprised they put JB and Josh together, though.
I'm glad they did, because it wasn't a shout fest. It wasn't them going back and forth the whole time like we have gotten before, and they were actually able to coincide and get some commentary in. So I wasn't too mad about it.
No, that's true. We did see Bruce Pritchard approach them two as well, until they got told if there was physical after altercation, they'd both be fired.
Right.
But we did see a couple of times where Josh tried to push JB, but not like he used to.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't as...
it was...
No, go on, dude.
I think it was pretty good for storyline. You know, like I said, I'm just glad there wasn't a whole bunch of bickering back and forth between the two guys, because it could have turned into that easily.
Yeah.
Because we had that with the Pope there. We had a whole bunch of back and forth going on, and for most of us, it was a bit much, and we didn't get that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. The way it was done was brilliantly on that part. After that, though, after it went to that section, we saw El Patron in the ring saying he's won every championship and he's everywhere he's been. Basically saying that the Impact Wrestling World Championship was next. Then we saw Lashley come down interrupting, said he's going to send El Patron back to Mexico and defeat him at Slammiversary. One thing I want to comment here, because I have seen a lot of people saying about the GFW titles, at Slammiversary, it's going to be the last of them.
Yeah, I read that too. Ed Nordum said that it's going to be conclusion, the merger, storyline, and the merger is going to be concluding that Slammiversary.
Yeah.
I also have read that two or three, I think it's no two belts, two of the new belts are done, and the others should be completed probably by Slammiversary. Probably should get new titles at Slammiversary.
Yeah, I think that's the way it's going to go. Because I think the tag team titles, I don't think they're going to unify in a match. I think because LAX hold both already.
Right. There'll be the unified titles. There'll be Impact Wrestling champions. You won't have to have any unifications because they're already. I mean, that was best that you did it that way, because if you're going to unify all the titles, you're going to do it quickly, which we even spoke about a while back. We figured that this would be exactly what would happen, that a unification would take place at Slammiversary, and we were dead on with that. So, yeah, what's the point of having one team win the GFW tag team titles, and then 4 weeks later you unify them? Just have LAX show that they're the dominant tag team right now, Impact Wrestling, by winning them both now, and unifying them, and then, just take all challengers, because I think it's going to be kind of like a mystery team. I don't even think they're booked to wrestle an Impact Wrestling tag team right now. I think it's going to be kind of one of those things like, who wants bring their on-comers, who can beat us, one of those kind of things.
Yeah, I think that's the way they're going to go with it on that. But we did see Lashley interrupts. He was going to send El Patron back to Mexico and defeat him at Slammiversary. Bruce Pritchard comes out and tells both men that they're defending their championships in separate matches, which I thought was a bit of a weird thing to do.
Yeah, because we all know that it's going to be Lashley versus El Patron at Slammiversary. We know that's the match that's booked. So we all knew that those two were going to be victorious in their matches. But I get it. I think that's pretty good. When it comes to having taped, you got taped shows like that, you got to kind of be weary and think about how you book it and how you put the show together, because you got spoilers, simple and plain. And then it's kind of on Impact Wrestling's Twitter page, they kind of spoil it too. They give away a lot of what's going on and a lot of what's already happened. So when we already know that a certain matches that are etched in stone at Slammiversary, or you try to portray as if you try to give us the idea that we don't know what's going to happen, what's next, when we really do. So I get what you're saying. Yeah, to book that with the knowledge that all the we fans have, it's kind of nonsense. It's kind of weird. I don't know why they do it. But if it weren't taped, if it weren't a tape show, in advance, so many episodes, that would have been perfect, because it's like, wow, they're putting them through the ringer. Up until Slammiversary, they're showing that they have to be fighting champions. The concept is great. I enjoyed the concept of, it's not over with. You're not home free. Nothing is etched in stone in Impact Wrestling. It doesn't mean you'll be champions when you get to Slammiversary. That concept, great. But the way that it's done, with the way that they're pushing the media, just as well as the way everything is getting out, right, maybe not so much of a great idea. But I do like the whole concept. I did like that part, and I get what the whole thing is. I'm still not really liking Bruce Pritchard on camera, though.
Yeah, same.
I'm still feeling like, I'm just not really digging Bruce Pritchard's character on camera. I'm liking the way that he's putting matches together, if that's what he's doing. But I think they should put someone else as an on-screen personality to be an enforcer. Because we're kind of getting too much Bruce Pritchard right now, or at least give us less Bruce Pritchard. I'd have been fine with him coming on the Titantron and then announcing, "Oh, you guys want a match? Such and such. Boom, there you go. You're both in championship matches to the band." But coming out there into the ring all the time, and trying to be the big enforcer guy that like Vince McMahon light is what I'm getting right now. Just being honest. Even with KM, I mean, I did like the segment of KM not being afraid and saying, but that's later on in the show. But that's just going to go to show you that we get Bruce Pritchard again in the show. So
yes, see, this is why
no light on Bruce Pritchard.
This is why I think they do need someone else. You know, I'd be quite happy to have Hulk Hogan as just as the GM role, like what Kurt Angle is with Raw. You know, someone like Hulk Hogan or Sting if he's not under a Legends contract. You know, there are some Impact legends that you could actually use for that kind of role.
Right.
You know,
I agree. I like what Bruce Prichard's doing behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I totally do. I mean, if he's playing a part of that or if he's just an on-screen role, from what I've been told, he's just an on-screen role. I mean, not told, but what I read in the beginning. But it's hard to believe he's just an on-screen role. I believe he has some inner workings in the backstage. So for all his influences on what's going on with Impact Wrestling on that angle, great. I think he's doing a wonderful job. But I don't, you know, he didn't have an on-screen role before and for a reason. I'm pretty sure that was for a reason. I don't think he needs one now, you know.
No, I agree. I totally agree with that point. There is so many people that I'd rather actually even see Jeff Jarrett as an on-screen role as a general manager instead of Bruce Prichard, because I think Jeff Jarrett's got more chemistry. I think that is the problem with Bruce Prichard, is the chemistry.
Well, I was going to put it like where the back of your car is. Otherwise, I got to put it in front of the car.
I mean, is it a problem if you put it in front of the car?
No, it's not a problem. It's not a problem at all.
No, it's not a problem for me.
Okay.
But as I was saying, I just don't think Bruce Prichard's got the chemistry to be playing a GM role.
Right. Brother Love was great. I liked him as Brother Love, without a doubt. You know? But yeah, the GM role, not so much. But I do, like I said, I do like what he's got going on backstage.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think it's the team they've got, the way everything's booked and the way everything's done is perfect at the minute. I can't fault it. But we did see on the show the X Division on the line with Loki taking on Connolly. To me, this felt like a little bit of a squash match.
Yeah, I would say that. Go ahead.
It felt a bit quick. It didn't feel like the general build up to it. It felt like they just wanted to get this match in and done.
Right, I agree. Because there was no build up. We didn't know about the match until the show started. You're right. It was a quick match. It wasn't really a whole lot of excitement in it. It was decent. It wasn't bad. I won't say it was bad, but it was a quicker match. Because we have been getting longer X Division matches. Our X Division matches lately have been pretty lengthy. So this is the shortest one we've had, and really since the new regime has taken over, I can't think of a shorter one. I guess it was okay for what it was. I guess they just wanted to get it over with quick to get to the whole Sanjay Dutt, because right after the match you had Sanjay Dutt come out and challenge Low-Key for the X Division title. So I'm guessing that's why the match was short, to get the whole X Division segment, because that might have been as long as the match was, the whole segment after the match. So I guess it was done that way, not to take up too much TV time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm actually quite looking forward to seeing Sanjay Dutt and Loki actually go at it.
I think that match is going to be incredible. I think it will be spectacular for real.
Oh yeah, it will be. But the one thing is, I don't want it to be too much of veterans all the time. I do want to see some of that new talent. I want to see more of that Desmond guy. I want to see more of him. I'm just hoping they don't push like they did, because they did do it in the past where veterans was pushed all the time. I hope everybody gets their fair share and everybody gets a fair chance.
Right, no doubt. I can definitely see that happening. But you got to know Sanjay Dutt's going to definitely get a push right now in India and everything. You got to know that Sanjay might be the face of the X Division for a minute, being that he hasn't won the X Division title. Yeah. And it's a very good chance that he'll win it next week. I mean, it only makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense. I don't know if he will or he won't, but it would be my guess. It would be my guess. But
it's not like
I could definitely see.
It's not like he's jobbing for a very long time and then suddenly gets the title out of nowhere.
Right, and that's why I can go for that. I believe it's like one of those fairy tale stories. It's like, this long road to the title, and I win it at home. If he could go to India and win it, because he's really from India as opposed to Jinder Mahal, he's Canadian. He's
that's
from
right.
Canada, so I could definitely see the fairy tale story and him getting the push from here on out, especially, that they finally started, got the tour in India that they've been trying to do for a couple of years. And, Dixie Carter couldn't come through it like she had promised. Anthem come through, make history. Sanjay would be able to, make history. I think it's the perfect story. And like you said, it's not just someone coming in and grabbing the title, just like it wasn't for Low Key either. It wasn't just Low Key coming in and grabbing the title. Low Key was a 4-time champion before that, and Low Key is world renowned. So, I think it would be good if it happened that way. I think it would be smart. The Indian fans would definitely be in an uproar. They'd definitely love that. I believe it would. And like you said, I just think it would be good for Impact Wrestling as a whole. And then I think the young man going into going for Sanjay would be good just as well as would be they're going after Low Key's title. Either one would be good because both of these are vets that can still do it, that have shown their prowess in this industry, and the both can be flag bearers for the X Division because they were in the X Division when the X Division was at its best time. So it's not like they're watered down. They have been with the best of best in the X Division, just as well as the new breed in the X Division too. So I think it's good.
Oh, I totally agree with you. It's like you just said, Sanjay Dutt has earned to be where he is.
Right, he's earned that.
And what I quite like is, his eye injury was an accident. But Impact Wrestling have been clever and made it look like it was on purpose to build this angle, which I really like the way they've played this angle. I can't fault it.
No doubt, they really played this one up really well, leading into the India taping. It was like, even though that was an accident, it was like an accident in disguise. It was perfect to go with the storyline. Sometimes you get that type of thing happens because that could have sidelined him or whatever, but it didn't. It was just light injury. He finished the match, and they jumped on it immediately. Immediately, that he used it for storyline to further it, and it did help it, without a doubt. I think it did, and apparently it sounds like you think it did too.
Oh, yeah.
And it's smart. It was really quick thinking. Something that it was mishappening and it made it turned into a plus. And I'm definitely ready to see it. It's been a lot of good build, and it's been done tastefully, done tactfully, and it's good wrestling storyline. It's something we haven't seen in the X Division, before Anthem brought themselves in, because we did wonder what was going to happen with storyline when we realized that the Trevor Lee and Drew everything has been nixed. We saw that coming. We saw it, so we did wonder. We're like, okay, well, what are you going to replace it with? And we see that to be Sanjay and Low Key right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I've said, and I've said this before, the X Division is brilliant at the minute.
Yep.
After that, we saw Rockstar Spud revenge on Swoggle last week, and Swoggle warned Spud that he's in for far more. Now, this actually, even before the whole attacks, this actually even happened at, was it Final Deletion that they happened where Swoggle took on Rockstar Spud? Or was it at Impact?
No, it was Spud versus Maxwell. King Maxwell versus Spud.
Oh, that was it.
It was after that. It was right after Anthem took over, I believe. Where it was Swoggle versus Spud. Swoggle won. Was it a tag team match though?
That was it. That was it. They teased it a Final Deletion. They made it look like Spud was going to bring Rye back, but it wasn't. It was Swoggle as his tag team partner.
Yep, that's what it was.
And then the whole
big guy, yeah.
That's right. And the twist happened, and then they had a match that Rockstar Spud lost. And then it sort of ended there, and now it's all back again with when Swoggle was winding up Spud, and then which has led into this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not too sure on the Swoggle Spud thing. I still feel Spud should be in the X division.
Yeah, they keep using Spud for these quirky storylines and stuff. It still seems that they don't know what to do with Spud. They still want to give him the underdog role. They still want to put him as the little guy role. They're stuck on that for some reason. They got Swoggle in Impact Wrestling just to try to build on, to try to get some of his fandom, because Swoggle was big in WWE. A lot of kids loved him. A lot of people were big on Swoggle, so they're trying to hand with that. They're trying to see how that goes. I get what they're doing, and they want to put him on TV. They want to feature him in Impact Wrestling. They want people to know Swoggle's there. So of course, the perfect person to put him in a feud with, because they're using him in a different light than WWE did. WWE, Swoggle there was the sidekick, the funny, kind of irrelevant kind of guy, the guy to pick on, the guy to laugh at. Now he's actually humanized. There should view him as a person in Impact Wrestling and not just this little plaything. Hornswoggle was a plaything in WWE.
Yeah, but
Impact Wrestling, he's a human.
Precisely. But then, even if you look at past at the Asylum years, they used to have midget matches. Impact Wrestling actually had a midget division.
Yep, Masquerade of Sangara. I remember those matches. Sangara, not Sangara, but Masquerade of Sangara. But I get what they're doing. They're trying to build up on the fame of Swoggle to bring viewers, and I understand it. With Spud, I think the reason for what they're doing with Spud, of course, because you gotta always have nowadays, you just gotta have sides, sketch comedy type stuff.
Yeah,
it's kind of what's been thrown into wrestling nowadays, and there's not much room for Spud to wrestle now because he is the little guy amongst a whole lot of talent now. The X Division, there's no ways people. It's kind of hard to believe Spud can compete in the X Division now with what the X Division has. Really, can you really see Spud winning too many matches in the X Division now? The X Division has become way more serious. Spud was X Division champion when the X Division was very watered down. Spud was in the X Division that consisted of no one. Andrew Everett wasn't even in the X Division then.
That's true.
Right. There wasn't. In the X Division, who was competing against Spud then? Now you have Desmond Xavier, Matt Sydal, Low Key, Sanjay Dutt, Andrew Everett, Trevor Lee. Hell, even if you want to throw Gregory Helms in there if you want to, hell. It's just too much talent to really feel like Spud can compete. So they got to find something for him because, Impact Wrestling likes Spud. The fans like Spud. I like Spud. United Kingdom likes Spud. And, of course, you got to make sure the United Kingdom is happy. They're your number one force. They're the driving force of Impact Wrestling. So you can't really get rid of Spud. So you got to do something with him. And I see this is kind of what's going on right now. So you got Swoggle. Hey, throw in there with a feud with Spud. Throw in with a program with Spud. What else is there to do?
See, I would actually quite like to see Spud and Grado join up as a team, because then that way you've got the two comedy guys and you could put them together and use them together well. To me, I wouldn't be bothered if they lost matches, but if they had that funny side and they tried their hardest. Cause
I agree. It doesn't seem like either one of those guys mind losing matches or anything. They just happy to be able to entertain. And I could definitely, that would be a great pairing because we haven't seen Grado on Impact Wrestling, but he's been over there at World of Sports. He's been working. He's been working with WOS just as well as ICW. He's working with partners, but we haven't seen him on Impact Wrestling TV in the United States. So, on TV, not just United States, on Impact Wrestling TV. So, bring him back with Spud, put them together. Even bring Grado back with a heel turn to go against Swoggle. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's
a lot.
Right now, I don't know who the face is in that, but
There's a lot of people we haven't seen as well. You know, we haven't seen Jesse for a long time. We haven't seen Bram. You know, I think Robbie E had a couple of matches and we haven't seen him for a while. There's a lot of talents we haven't actually seen at Impact Wrestling.
We on Twitter and everything, we're trying to figure out if Jesse's still on the roster. We don't believe he's on the roster anymore. From what I've been told, he's not on the page. I got to check it out on the ImpactWrestling.com. They said he's been moved to the alumni, so I got to check it out and see. See,
when I saw it, I showed him on the active roster. I'm actually on the.
That's too. So that's a weird one.
They have updated their roster, so I'm actually checking it out now as you said that. Because Grado's still on there, so. Be weird if he's not on there. Right, I want to try and
because Jesse hasn't even been wrestling in any of the partnering companies either. So I'm like, makes me wonder.
That is kind of a weird one. I've because I know he was moved to the alumni for a short period and then moved back up because it looked like it was a mistake. Actually, no, Kingston's on the main one, but I don't see Jesse.
Exactly. I've been told he wasn't on the main roster anymore.
Yeah, I don't see him on there. But they've moved... No, he's not. He's actually not on there. So I'm guessing... possibly that he has been released, but then if he's been released, wouldn't have he said himself that he's gone?
I would think so.
Because we knew there was going to be some people that were going to be released, you know. But I'm surprised about Jesse Goddard has been released because he did have some potential. In my opinion, they should have never broke up the bromance.
Yep.
They should have kept the bromance together. But yeah, no, it looks like he...
Yeah, because they brought him back and then broke him up pretty fast.
No, it looks like he's...
I mean, I feel like if they're going to break him up, Go ahead.
Yeah, he's not on the main roster. I was just double checking it, but no, he's not. That's surprising. But they did say he had said in the past that Impact has allowed him to go and do all this other TV stuff that he's doing. So maybe he hasn't got a contract at the minute and he's doing all this other stuff and then he's coming back.
Right, something like Gail Kim, because Gail Kim, she's not signed right now, but she said she's coming back to Impact. She said that's her family, and she is coming back. She just, they just want to make sure that she's rested up well after her injury. Says she's good, she's not injured. They're just giving her time, make sure everything's well, and then she's gonna resign.
Yeah.
So
it could be
Gail Kim.
It could be the same thing where Jesse is doing all this other TV stuff, and then they're bringing him back in at a later period, but. Because that's what he said in an interview quite a while ago. So I'm hoping that he is going to still be with Impact and he is just doing these other bits at the minute.
No doubt. I hope he does come back too.
But back to the show. After that, we saw Lone Wolf, Davey Richard taking on, was it Vigsa Kumar?
Yeah. Vig Kumar.
Sorry, Indian fans, if you're listening to this and if we've pronounced it wrong. But there was a note that Angelina Love wasn't in Mumbai, nor was Alicia either.
Right.
Which they've basically said that Angelina Love was instructed to stay home because of putting Alicia through a table. So it was a bit weird seeing Davey Richards on his own. Again, it was a squash match. It was just a match to make Davey look good, to build up for when he takes on I forgot the other bloke's name. I've just had a mind blank. Eddie Edwards.
Eddie Edwards.
That's it. But yeah, there was nothing really to it.
Right. It was just good to see Indian talent out there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I thought it was cool. Squash match. Nothing else to say about that. That's simply what it was.
It was, because then after we saw EC3 come out, attack Kumar with a leather strap, and then James Storm made the save. Storm chased off EC3 before he could do any more damage.
I like EC3 being great as he is. I like it.
Oh, I do. When he had on a couple of shows ago, when he came down and had all those guys singing behind him, I like the heel EC3. I really do. It's, even though he is a heel, he still has that comedy side to him.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's always comedic as a heel. I like that about him.
Yeah, because when you watch him, you're like, what's he going to do next? What are we going to see next from him? It's exciting to see him as a heel and to see what he's going to do.
Yeah, he's really creative. I wonder if he thinks up this stuff on his own. Because even if it's just like over the top, it's still creative to see that he does something different every time. He doesn't do the same thing over and over again, and that's cool because it kind of reminds me of The Rock, how The Rock was. The Rock would always come with something different, and people laugh and entertain. And EC3 has those same kind of elements. He's like really good presenter. He's a really good entertainer, and he'll be a staple in Impact Wrestling for a long time. I feel like anywhere, hopefully he never leaves, but I believe anywhere he would go because of what he's established now, he's going to be a great entertainer. It's always refreshing to see, like you said, he always has you wondering what's he going to do next, because it is always something different. It's something, and it makes you laugh, smile, boo, cheer, but it's going to give you a reaction. You get a reaction every time out of EC3, and that's what you want. Oh
yeah, definitely. It is more of a build-up as well, with EC3 taking on James Storm again, which they'll probably do. We'll probably even have that at Slammiversary. But, they've built up that brilliant. And also, I'm enjoying Storm being on his own.
Yeah, and I'm enjoying Storm being back in the forefront. He should be a top guy. He should be on television. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that Jeff Jarrett and Anthem know that and realize that, because it seems like Dixie Carter didn't get that, because she was in that creative team. Because James Storm is someone, like we talked about before, you're paying him $250,000 a year. You better justify it. Use him. Don't misuse him. He's one of those people that you need in Impact Wrestling. He's an original that stayed down a long time and has been relevant the whole time, and that you can still make a flag bearer, a top guy in the company. To put a world championship on him would never be a bad idea whenever they decide to do it, because he's always entertained. The fans still love James Storm. To this very day, the fans are crazy about the Cowboy James Storm. And if you can have longevity like that, you need to keep him where he needs to be, to be seen, and keep him on his own and stop putting him in these factions that aren't working. The ECC could have worked, but it didn't. And that's because the way that it was booked, and solely because of that, because it was a great idea. It was a really good idea in essence, and fans were definitely latching on to it when they started. And the way they started should have been the way they continue to finish, but it wasn't. So stop putting them in these factions, and bring, like you said, do what they're doing now. Have the Cowboy by himself. Cowboys are loners anyway, so have the Cowboy by himself and go out there and deliver like he's been doing all these years. And I like to see the Cowboy James Storm just in his fashion. Him and EC3 is a good feud. I like it. If it would go to Slammiversary, I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. But I do want to see James Storm back in some kind of title picture.
Yeah.
Time soon.
Oh, I definitely agree. I think we will, but I think it'll be in time. I would like to see EC3 as champion again. So many top guys are being used correctly. The only person I'm actually missing is Bram. I am missing Bram, because I loved Bram when he was the Chesterfield play. when he was that hardcore guy. You know, the stuff he did to Magnus, you know, because even Stone Cold Steve Austin was amazed by Bram's skill and the way he portrayed himself. You know, and I think Impact need to go back to that. They need to go back to the Bram that people were loving, that even the media was talking about. I think that's where they need to go back with him.
Bram is totally one of those guys that you can push the moon because he has that. He's a lot like Gunner was.
Yeah.
Like this attitude of what did they used to call Gunner, Mr. Intensity?
Yeah,
Bram
that's
is kind of like that too. You know, Bram is a very intense type wrestler. Got a nice physique. He definitely a scary looking dude. He can definitely be a scary acting fella. I don't think they should make him like the whole thing with Rosemary was like a real blunder to me. You should never give him like that soft type, emotional type role. You know, it's just not Bram. I would like to see Bram back after Slammiversary, you know, full force.
Yeah.
I would like to see Matt Morgan after Slammiversary. Definitely to fix Matt Morgan. We're seeing more James Storm now. You know, bring around some of those guys and put them in the picture. I like to see more Moose.
Yeah.
I mean, we're seeing Moose now, but I want to see Moose in the title picture. Moose has shown that he can definitely carry that grand championship. Maybe he should carry it a little bit longer because he's bringing a lot of prestige.
Yeah.
Moose, I think, is probably like the perfect person for that title. They found the right man to carry that title and to give it prestige. And I think that should lead us up to the next match, which is Lance versus Moose.
Yeah. One thing that, you know, I've been thinking about this for a while, you know, the way I could see they could bring Bram in is with the tag team division, have Bram and Kingston attack a tag team, put them through tables, put them through barbed wire, really go to that carnage stage. And where they say, you know, we're not the DCC, we're the Extreme, you know, really bring that evil dark side of Bram back with the uncontrollable Kingston as well. And them two together could make an amazing team. And also it will build them two back up in the ranks.
Right. I would definitely like, because there's so much talent that we don't even see anymore right now. Like I think could be a big name. Like I watched, you know, some of his Chikara stuff. He's really good on the mic. He does good promos. He's in the ring too. He's a big fast guy. He's athletic. I like him. They need to feature those guys. Like I said, I think right now with the way things are, tag team would probably be the way to go because being 100% real, it's kind of crowded in Impact right now. There's a lot of talent to be showcased. So put them in the tag team division that is being built. Being that you lost Reno Scum, it'd be a great place to put them. Yeah, you know, and then get more competition for your tag team champions, LAX, VOW, and Falaba, and Bokara. They definitely need some challengers and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that would be perfect. Or even bring back the new Broman, you know, Robbie E and Bram. Bring that team, the Global Tag League, and put them on Impact and see how that goes.
No, I don't like the idea of Bram and Robbie E being a team. With the way Bram has been in the past, I don't think it's a good fit. You know, I think Bram needs to be that psychotic, hardcore guy. I think with Robbie E, I think that's the worst way to go. I think, you know, for me, it's either Bram on his own or with Kingston, but I can't see Bram with anybody else. I don't think it will suit the character he is.
Well, from what it looks like for the Global Tag, they had a persona of like biker guys, like a biker gang or something like that, because they were leather clad and like I said, like they were bikers or whatever. So maybe their gimmick is they've made Robbie E's gimmick more serious for that role. And I believe if they were to bring that to Impact Wrestling, I don't believe that they would have the same roles and the same gimmicks that they had before. I believe Robbie E would probably be more rugged. Yeah. And would, you know, and they would coincide more on that tip. So I'm interested to see what their gimmick was like as the new bromance. That way I could really feel like it would work or would not work in Impact Wrestling.
Oh, yeah, but it is a wait and see game. You know, we don't know who's going to be released or they're going to let the contracts run out and then let them go. You know, like you said, there is a big roster, but you've got to have something to do for this big roster. You know, if you're not using them, then they need to go to, you know, the companies you're linked with, maybe Noah or something like that. But I think you're right. I think it is just a wait and see game. You know, what comes in the future, what's going to happen after Slammiversary. You know, because the whole GFW thing will be dropped at Slammiversary, and it will be just going on with Impact Wrestling. So it is a waiting game. We did see backstage Eli Drake was appalled by his loss to Moose, and him and Chris Adonis went to Bruce Pritchard and suggested that they should get their title shot against Lashley and Al Patron tonight, and Pritchard tells them he'll think about it. Now, I'm actually quite liking Eli Drake and Chris Adonis together. I think it's a better partnership than Eli Drake and Tyrus.
Yeah, it's seeming that way. Yeah, instead of just having a bodyguard, you kind of got like a fiendish buddy, fiendish best friend type thing. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good pairing because they're both kind of trying to connive on championship gold. They're both feeling like they've been overlooked, and it's keeping Eli on TV. Eli Drake should be on TV. He's a great character, you know, and this will also help Chris Adonis get back into the limelight just as well because he's with the perfect person to bring him some limelight. You know, Adonis wasn't always the most charismatic person. I was always been a fan of him since his days back as Chris Masters. But if there are certain people in Impact Wrestling that they just got it. They have the charisma, they have the appeal, and Eli Drake is one of those people. So I guess maybe Tyrus, you know, I like the pairing, but then it just kept getting weird. You know, they were kind of back and forth with that thing. I did like Tyrus, how he kind of like would piss Eli Drake off, and their interactions were funny to me. But when it comes to more wrestling purposes, when it comes to storyline, when it comes to them building as characters, and I guess in Impact Wrestling, what was going on right now, I totally get it, because Adonis coming in from GFW trying to make his name in Impact Wrestling, and Eli Drake feeling like these guys coming in, he's being overlooked. Well, let's team together and show what we got and make ourselves known. I get that. So, and I like that. It goes along with the whole merger and the feeling that Eli Drake is feeling right now with the storyline and Masters. So, yeah, it's a good pairing because it's believable, and it goes along with everything that's going on in Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and actually that's probably a really good way to put it with the way everything's going. We did also see Swoggle chasing Rockstar Spud around the India Impact Zone, which was quite funny. Just seeing them two run around in the audience. And that's what I kind of like as well. Even though this is going to build to a match, there's still got some comedy elements to it.
Right.
But it's what do you do next? You know, they've attacked each other. Now they've chased each other. What are they going to do next? You know, if the match is being saved till Slammiversary, what are you going to do in between that gap?
Yeah, I definitely see that. That's what they're going to do. It definitely looks like they're just going to be going at it. And, you know, sporadic type out of the way moment. It's cool. I like it, you know, because, you know, Swoggle was known. We all like Spud. It's wrestling element. Is that you feeling? Well, it's not just silliness too, because they're actually attacking each other and they're actually having a feud. So I'm cool with that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have been thinking about this as well. You know, if they don't go with the Rockstar Spud gimmick, I'll be quite happy for them to go, I'm with Spud.
Yeah, I think they are trying to, you know, they've gone away from the Rockstars gimmick for a while. He's pretty much just been Spud. They just been calling him Rockstar Spud because that's where he came in as. He hasn't had the Rockstar gimmick since British boot camp.
Hmm.
Well, really right after British boot camp. But remember, pretty much right after that, he went to the different, the tie and the different color pants, and then he did the when he was with EC3, and then he did when he was with Matt Hardy. Then he did, he's done all kinds of different gimmicks and things since then, and none of them has been the Rockstar gimmick.
No, you're right. I think they kind of need to go back to the boot camp character where he was the idiot. He was the rockstar. He would get drunk but still turn up next day at the wrestling training, and he was cocky and arrogant, but he was funny as well. I think that's the sort of way they need to go with him. My favourite match of Rockstar Spud is two. It was Martin Skirtle when he was Party Marty and Rockstar Spud. That was one of my favourite matches, and that's when you probably see the best of Rockstar Spud's ability in the ring. Right. He did some moves in that match that we haven't seen for a long time. And the second one was EC3 against Rockstar Spud.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my two favourite matches from Rockstar Spud, and he can put on those top matches, but it just seems he's not allowed, or they're not putting him in correctly to have those top matches.
Yeah, they just seem like they want to gimmick him out right now, just make him something to laugh at.
Oh yeah. We also saw Joseph Park finds Jeremy Borash at Impact Wrestling headquarters to start training their match against Josh Matthews and Scott Steiner.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the eerie feeling that Joseph Parks is going to turn into Abyss for Slammiversary.
You think so?
Yeah.
Where do you see that idea?
I think it's going to be to do with Jeremy. I can see Jeremy going to someone like Rosemary and say, I need Abyss, I need your help.
Right, because I'm pretty sure he's not feeling like he can beat Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
Right. I'm wondering if they're going to, because Joseph Park said he wanted to make JB an X Division guy. I wonder how that's going to go. Will we actually see some wrestling out of JB? Will we actually see a top rope dive at Slammiversary? Will we actually see him transition to some kind of X Division guy?
Or will
That'd be kind of funny. I'd like to see it.
Or will it be that Scott Steiner makes Joseph Park bleed, and then that's when he turns into Abyss and hits the Abyss moves like he's done in the past? I just think, booking sense, it doesn't make sense for Joseph Park to go over on Scott Steiner. There's got to be something to it for Joseph Park to go over.
I really want Papa Pump and Josh to go over. Just being honest.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't. I want Josh Matthews off commentary.
I do too, but I still want him to go over in this match. But I do want him to still be off commentary and the storyline go over like that some kind of way. Because I do like Josh Matthews when it comes to him bringing heel heat. I think he brings really good heel heat to Impact Wrestling, and I kind of don't want to see him off TV. I do want to see him off commentary, but I don't want to see him off TV.
But this is what I've got the feeling. I've got a feeling, as I've said this before, where Josh and Scott lose, and Josh Matthews comes back as a manager. I think you could put Josh Matthews with Lashley, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could definitely do that. I want to see him go over because I like his braggadocio, and I like that. I want to go on, and him winning, of course, would definitely feed his ego so much. And like you said, I would like to see that into him as a manager or into a role of a heel role of some sort other than commentary, because I think it will feed it well, really well. Now, if it's going, because they haven't declared that the winner of the match is going to stay in commentary or the loser is going to leave commentary. That's never once been said. So that's why I want to see Josh go over, because if it was one of those, all right, loser leaves commentary, then yeah, I would want JB to go over and Josh go on as manager somewhere. But being that hasn't been said, yeah, I want to see Josh go over because I'm liking his heel work, and I think that only further it more. So I would like to see him win and him still go on to be a manager to someone or something in that capacity, and have his heel presence just like to the max. That's why I want Josh to win. Josh and Scott to win.
Yeah, I can see that. And actually, you make a very good point there. They haven't stated about the commentary situation.
Right.
But if they do add that stipulation in, I don't want it to be like what the WWE did with Shane McMahon, where he had to win at WrestleMania, but even though he lost at WrestleMania, he still got the opportunity to be commissioner. It's like, hang on, you said if he loses, he leaves the WWE. I don't want Impact to go on that realm. If they
like when the authorities said if they lost, they'd be gone, and then they came out like 2 weeks later, we're back. What's the point?
Precisely. We're just going to have to wait and see, but I am hoping that they move Josh on to be a manager. That's where I think he'd be great. I think Pope and Borash at commentary is perfect, and I think that's the way it should go. We did see after that Lashley would be taking on Moose for the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. I've got to admit, this match was brilliant.
It was, man. I've been waiting on Moose versus Lashley for a long time, and I was not disappointed.
No, I was. Do you know the way the match went? It even looked like Moose could get the victory. And that's what I liked.
Right, it actually had you like, wow, is Moose going to win this? Is he going to go in, go to Slammiversary, as the champ and grand champ? It was a really good match, man, because they showcased like everything that both men could do. I mean, like everything, and it was a really big, good back and forth match. It showed that Moose can contend with anybody in Impact Wrestling because he gave Lashley a go. Lashley didn't dominate in this match. He dominates in most matches at some point, but there was really no point to where he just completely dominated and had Moose on the ropes. Moose was able to counter everything that Lashley threw at him. I mean, a couple of really close calls. He even did Lashley's spear. He speared Lashley, with the flipping spear. It was cool as hell, man. This a really good match. One of the best matches I've seen from Moose. One of the best matches I've seen from Lashley in a long time. It was more to showcase Moose, I believe, because I'm pretty sure we all knew Lashley would win.
Yeah.
But I think this was more so to show that Moose is coming towards the heavyweight title scene. I think this is the way to kind of like push him in that direction and maybe like take the grand title off of him soon. I'm getting that the grand title will be passed to someone else soon, and Moose will be put into the world title scene. And I think this is a way to show the fans in the world that yes, he deserves to be in the world title scene. This was a really good match that I probably should have been the last match. I think this probably should have been the main event because it was as good as it was. It was like a pay-per-view caliber match, really. It was really good. I got to say, it wasn't slow, fast-paced, not too fast to where it was unbelievable. They both sold well. I mean, I can't complain anything about this match. I would like to see more matches like this. It was a really good pairing. Even when Moose's music came out, because not knowing who the matches were going to be against, they were mystery opponents. To hear Moose's music against Lashley I was like, oh, this is going to be a stellar match. You knew it was going to be good when Moose was introduced. If you didn't, you were crazy.
Yeah, totally agree with you. I totally agree. It was a phenomenal match. It was, like you said, it was fast paced. They were giving it back and forth. I really do hope down the line that Moose gets a chance to be world champion, because I think he's at that level. I really do.
I think that the fans will rally behind Moose so big, so much if he was world heavyweight champion, because he has already got a following in Impact Wrestling. I mean, really quickly. They came really quickly that are crazy about Moose. Moose is one of the biggest names in Impact Wrestling. Everybody knows the Moose chant. During his matches, they're always screaming Moose. They interact with Moose. No matter who Moose wrestles, no matter who that is, he is the fan favorite. He just is. And to have him as world champion, you would need to keep him as world champion for a long time. He is the person that you would have, just like Lashley is doing, to go country to country, holding that title and defending it. Because if there's a face in Impact Wrestling, someone that is a fan favorite to face, Moose should be that person. It should be the next face champion. Because right now, Impact Wrestling is kind of more heel driven. Yeah. It seems like that to me. And if you're looking for your next face to hold the title, to carry the torch, it is definitely Moose, because you'll get play everywhere he goes, from Japan to Mexico to India, everywhere. They're all like this. Moose. Moose. The whole crowd is going wild, and even during the matches and everything. And that would just really look good for Impact Wrestling. He has the move set. He's getting better on the mic. His feuds have been good. It's about all his matches. He's one of the few guys to where there's a good match coming when he's in the ring, because he's just delivered good match after good match after good match, and it seems like he gives us all every match, and I'm very appreciative of that. And I think every wrestling fan and Impact Wrestling fan is appreciative too. So,
and also he's really stood out since Mike Bennett left Impact Wrestling. Moose has really stood out on his own, and I think Mike Bennett leaving Impact Wrestling was probably the best move, because now look at the spotlight's got on Moose, and Moose has just rolled with it and been amazing.
Right, and he's so humble about it. He's been really amazing. He's been one of the shining spots and talents of Impact Wrestling. I believe he's like one of the he's like a flag bearer, like I said. He's a stand-up guy. And a person, when you think of Impact Wrestling, I think Moose is one of the people that you should think of.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Even after that match, because we know LAX wasn't at the tapings in India, but we still saw a section of LAX celebrating winning the GFW Tag Team Championship at their, what do you call it, their hideout? Is that the best way to put that?
Or layer, who knows?
But it reminded me of Aces and Eights. If you remember, we used to see a section where Aces and Eights had their own hideout and everything else. So I kind of like the way they've done that with LAX.
Yeah, it's cool. It's definitely different. It's something. It lets us feel LAX. It lets us get more into their characters and their roles. You want to be invested. We definitely always talk about you want to be invested in characters and the talents and stuff like that. And if you have your champions, you definitely want to know your champions. You want to know what makes them so rugged. You want to know what makes them worthy of being champions. What's different about them as opposed to every other person that steps into the ring. Because no one wants to see generic champion. Generic, we don't. A champion shouldn't be generic. A champion should be someone that you should want to follow, someone that you're impressed by, and no one's impressed by just your average generic champion. Like right now, like if Bokara and Fala Ba were champions, no one would care because we know nothing about them. We have seen nothing but them wrestling in a few matches, and we know nothing about their history, them where they come from, about their personalities, know nothing. There's nothing to invest in. So they would be a generic type champion in the heavyweight division, or let's say the X division. Caleb Conley would be a generic champion because we know nothing about Caleb Conley. He hasn't had any interviews. He had one backstage interview when he first came in to Impact Wrestling, but that's it. We know nothing about him. It would be a generic champion, and and so on and so forth in every division. Same thing with the knockout division. If MJ Jenkins would become champion, she'd be a generic champion because we know absolutely nothing about her. We had nothing to invest in. So they're doing the right thing by giving us LAX every week and showing us what they do outside of the ring, showing us more about the organization, more about LAX as people, I guess you would say. Even though it's still kayfabe, it's still showing us as their characters, and they're doing that. They're doing in the way they're pushing LAX. They're doing it rightfully so, and I like it. It's good. It's good work. It's something that the last regime wasn't doing. They were putting titles on people, and they weren't really giving us nothing to invest in. The only thing we were investing in was the Hardys.
Yeah, I totally agree.
That's what I thought. Yeah, they were pushing the Hardys down the throat. That's it. In the X division, we didn't know anything about anybody in the X division. Low Key has been on the Low Key. We're learning about Low Key. He's showing himself. He's giving us, we've had bios about him. Yeah. We've had, backstage interviews with him. Same thing with Matt Sydal. He's telling about his journey and why he wants to be X Division champion, talking about different things. Lashley, we know we get plenty of Lashley. We know all about Lashley. And that's what Anthem and Jeff Jarrett are doing. They're giving us our champions. Beforehand, we weren't getting our champions.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that point, actually. Another thing they're really doing well is the Lauren Van Ness character as well, still being in the wedding dress. Jesus Christ, I don't want to even smell what that smells like at the minute. I still find it kind of weird with Rosemary and Ali. I still find that sort of a weird mix. But I can get why they're doing it, because they do need to get Rosemary taking on Sienna at Slammiversary to unify those two women's titles. So I can get what they're doing, but I don't know. Is Ali the right person to be used with Rosemary?
I say yes, because she's the exact opposite of everything Rosemary was.
Yeah.
Because, she did a face turn. They're trying to change persona. They're keeping the demon assassin thing going on, but they wanted to be a good guy. They want to be a face. So there's no person in the knockout division that you can align with more and become a face than Ali. Yeah. Who else? Immediately, any association with Ali is definitely going to make you a face. And the fans love Rosemary more than ever now. So with that itself, it shows that, that was the perfect person to put her with, to interact with, to get the transition and the effect they want. Because remember, even in the Impact Zone, the fans went nuts when she came out and attacked Sienna and Laura Van Ness. They went in a really rancid, crazy Rosemary chant. The crowd went nuts, and it did the same thing in India. They are liking this Rosemary Ali pairing. They're liking that Rosemary and whoever the hell she's talking about along with her, maybe the demons, are protecting Ali. It's working. So that's all I care right now with it. Regardless of how I feel about it, it works. Whoever thought about it and thought it was a good idea was correct. Yeah. Because all of Impact is eating it up. So, and Rosemary is a good champion. She's a fighting champion. She's a dominant champion. She deserves what she's getting. And right now, she's becoming even bigger than what she is. And right now, to take that title off of her would be insane, even though I like seeing her. Yeah. And, I do believe she deserves to be a champion. And I believe she is the top heel when it comes to the knockouts. And it's just too bad that the titles have to be unified, because I like the way that it's going with the knockouts right now. Yeah. You got a champion with one, and then you got the heel champion. And I think if any titles would be okay and not being unified right now, it would be the women's titles, because the way things are going, I would like to see those two feud for a while before they unify those. I think Slammiversary, unless they go really, really hard and full on the next 3 weeks with a Sienna Rosemary feud, I would like to see it go past Slammiversary, then the unification. But if they go like really hard with the feud with these two for 3 weeks and unified, then I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But the way that the Knockouts division is going right now, I think it's great with the 2 titles, them feuding right now. If this becomes like all-out warfare type thing, then yeah, unify them now. Go ahead and Slammiversary and do it. But I like it because Sienna's back to that status that she was before as this beastly, faster, stronger heel woman that is not to be messed with. She's gotten it back. And the GFW title helps solidify that. You know what I mean? It's giving her the strength that she had before.
Yeah.
And Rosemary's still having to shine with the Impact title with her newfound like glory as a face and the fans loving that. I don't think neither one needs to have that momentum taken from them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, if anything, have an all-out knockdown, drag-out feud to where whoever were to win or lose, they still are looked upon like, damn, these are the top 2.
Yeah.
And in a way you can look at them in any other kind of way, because right now they are. There are not 2 bigger females in Impact Wrestling than these 2 right now, than Sienna and Rosemary. So I want to see this turn into like the biggest feud that maybe the Knockouts have seen in a long time, because I believe it deserves that kind of attention.
I totally agree with you. You know, I really like Sienna. I really like Rosemary. I kind of like Laura Van Ness, but I'm getting a bit fed up with the whole crazy in the wedding dress gimmick. I liked her as the kick-ass Laura Van Ness, and I'm hoping that the craziness with Laura Van Ness dies down. I'd like her to go back to being the spoiled brat. You know, I quite liked her in that role. It's a difficult one because she is playing the crazy woman really well, but with playing that gimmick, it has a very short longevity. You know, you can't overdo it.
What I like about it is Sienna kind of like being like her control, being like her leader. I do like that part of it, because I like that. Because I think Sienna is like the leader of that faction they got going on. Sienna, KM, Tongo Kong, and Laurel Van Ness. Sienna's obviously the leader. And I would like to see Laurel stay in that role simply just to further Sienna's role as the leader, as a dominant, not just knockout, but person, because you got this female wrestler, this knockout, that's leading these men just as well. So for Sienna's character, that's why I would like to see Laura Van Ness stay the way that she is now, because she is controlling things now as opposed to when Maria was controlling things. You know, Maria leaving is just like Mike Bennett for Moose. Maria leaving is just, it was good for Sienna. Yeah. And I'm liking what's going on with Sienna, and I want to see it keep going. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? What I would like to see. And I get why, because normally a gimmick like that really doesn't have any longevity. I normally don't even like gimmicks like that. But the whole, remember, I expressed to you, I don't even like wrestling weddings and all that kind of stuff. I don't feel like there's a place for it in wrestling. But this is furthering Sienna to me, and so I can tolerate it, because, like you said, she is playing it well. She's playing the crazy psycho well, and even in the ring, she's still playing it well. And I like where it's taking Sienna as a talent and as a wrestler. So I'm fine with it as long as it continue to push Sienna the way that it's doing.
Yeah, I agree, but one way they could turn this, and I'd actually quite like it if they went this way, where Sienna turns on Laura Van Ness, knocks Laura Van Ness out, and then you see Sienna, Congo Kong, KM all in the ring together, working as a team. Because in that way you could put KM and Congo Kong going for the tag teams, Sienna being the top women's champion, and that sort of free faction would work. Because I believe that, you know, those titles will unify the GFW women's and the Impact one. Because if they did it with Laura Van Ness, let's say she won the women's title, you know, you wouldn't see Sienna work with Laura Van Ness, because Sienna would want that title. So I think we could see, after Slammiversary, Sienna turn on Laura Van Ness and goes with KM and Congo Kong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. I think wherever they go with it, that's a good. Like I said, I myself, I like seeing what Sienna has going on. I would like to see what they got going on continue myself. So I just think it's really good for Sienna. I think Sienna should be pushed as a top lady, and that's why I like what's going on. You know, and I think that I like that they're just showing her as a dominant person, not just a dominant female. I like that. We haven't seen that since really like Congo Kong, someone that can control, not really control, but not that a force to be reckoned with in the whole locker room, and not just the women's locker room. I like that whole persona.
Oh yeah. I just think in time, I'm not going to say now, but in the future, I think they do need to sort of separate Sienna and Laura Van Ness in the future. Let them go their separate ways, and I do think that needs to happen at a point. But at the moment, it does work at the moment.
Yeah, it does need to happen at the point, just for for the knockouts division, because you don't want a whole bunch of knockouts, even though it's just two, but you really don't want knockouts pairing one up with each other, because you're still trying to grow the roster. Oh
yeah, definitely. But the match itself was a very quick match. Rosemary managed to get the victory by when Sienna got up in the apron, and Rosemary knocked Laura into her and rolled her up for the win. So it was a very quick match. And then, we saw the attack from Sienna and Laura Van Ness attacking Rosemary. Then Ali came down to even the odds. And then we saw Rosemary thank Ali for her assistance. So, there is a build-up there. The way they're doing it is there probably will be a build-up with Rosemary taking on Sienna, which we know is going to happen. But I also think there's another build-up where we're going to have Ali taking on Laura Van Ness.
Right, exactly. And once again, the fans look crazy when she thanked Ali and she interacted with Ali.
Yeah.
Again, they're definitely loving this new face, Rosemary.
Before we go on to the next part, there's one thing I do want to say to you. And this is coming from the last Impact done at the Impact Zone. Amber Nova, when she took on Ali. I watched that match very carefully. I watched Amber Nova very carefully, and to me, she's a type of woman that needs to be in this women's division because she's different. She's more.
Yeah, she's good.
She's a mix of a high flyer as well. She reminded me a little bit of Lita. Right. The way she throws herself about in the ring, and they haven't got anybody like that in the knockouts. And I personally, and I'm going to say it, I think they should sign her because I think she's got a lot of potential and could be a perfect fit in the knockouts because she's something different.
I agree too, and then I like that they didn't just make it a squash match. They actually showed that she can wrestle, and I liked her attitude. She got a nice attitude when it comes to being the heel. So I think she's kind of natural because she rubs you the wrong way off the top. So and that's what you want when you're portraying the heel. And like I said, it wasn't just a squash match. She actually gave Ali a pretty good run. So, yeah, I think maybe they did it that way because maybe they may think about bringing her back around. That'd be smart. That would be smart. I think she could definitely fit. I think she even fits. She fits better than Ava Story. They should definitely swap those two out.
Oh, definitely. Even on commentary, they kept mentioning about her. Because Josh kept saying she's from the garage.
Right, exactly.
But no, I felt she's a perfect fit, and I really enjoyed the match. She made Ali look better.
It did. It really did. It was good they put someone in there that got skills, so she just went. Even though we all know Ali has skills, we know that already. But it was good. To further show that Ali is getting better and better as a wrestler.
Oh yeah, and also with Amber Nova didn't look green at all. She looked like a professional wrestler. And, she's only been wrestling, what was it, for the last 2 years? So she hasn't been wrestling that long. and she's already got
But
it
she
down.
looked good though.
But so
I was looking at some of her independent stuff. She has matches with Ali in the Indies, and just as well as other top names.
That's why Impact Wrestling, if you ever listen to this, sign up. Get Amber Nova on the roster. We want to see more of her. Then leading on to our... Oh, actually, there is a bit I missed. We did see KM speaking to Bruce Pritchard on trying to get an opportunity for the GFW Global Championship. And we saw the KM doing the normal thing. You calling me a liar? I'm number one contender. You calling me a liar?
I'm not calling you a liar, but I'm also not calling you number one contender.
It was done, and I'm actually quite in like the KM character. He's brilliant in the ring, and you know he's something different. You know, he's not a rehash of something that's been done before.
Right. I like it. I like it. I got attitude and everything. I like it.
Oh yeah. We did see Jeremy Borash and Joseph Parks training for their tag match. We saw Park telling Borash that he's going to train him to be an X Division wrestler. Right, okay.
Yep.
In case he wants to hit...
To the room.
Yeah, okay. I did notice there was a kind of a jab with this as well, with the swimming pool. Because there's been a lot of videos of normal people doing wrestling moves into water.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the way they were digging it.
Taking a jab.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that was done purposely. But I'm quite I kind of like that. I like the funny skits. I like the couple of digs they do now and then. It's just the thought of Borash in the X Division is just, no, please not. Then we come to our main... Go on.
I said you just couldn't see it. Just can't see it.
No, you really can't. We could see Borash and Spud, or even Borash and Swoggle. Why not? We had our main event with El Patron taking on Chris Adonis with Eli Drake. I quite enjoyed this match, actually. It was nice actually seeing Chris Adonis having a match because we haven't really seen much of him in the ring at the moment.
Right. I felt the same way because we hadn't seen him in any matches really. So it was like, I liked it too. Because you want to showcase all the talent that you got, especially the new guys. So I liked it just in that aspect. I still feel like Moose and Lashley should have been when matches came out. Dons came out. I felt like I don't have a problem with that. We haven't seen them, but I still think that should have been a match before, and then the Moose and Lashley match should have been the main event.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. It was still a good match, but they could have swapped these two round.
Yeah.
But then again, I do believe with after the match, after El Patron won this match, we saw Moose coming down because of Eli Drake getting involved. Which we could see Moose and El Patron taking on Lashley and Chris Adonis. We could see something like that happening next week.
Right, before Slammiversary. Yeah, because at the end of the match, Moose came out to assist El Patron. And, he was pointing out at Lashley because Lashley was watching the beatdown that Eli Drake and Masters were putting on El Patron after El Patron won, which was a good match, like I said, because El Patron did some pretty good things, put him in the arm bar outside against the ropes. Masters also put, Adonis also put Patron in the Adonis lock through the ropes, so of course you couldn't win the match that way. It was a good match, like you said. So Moose came out to assist El Patron when he was getting jumped on, and he was pointing out at Lashley like this is not over with. You're gonna get some more. So maybe that's an indication that maybe we will see some next week between Moose and Lashley, just as well as El Patron and Eli Drake, or Adonis. Who knows how that's going to go? It could be a tag team match, could be a 3-on-2, something like that. Who knows? But I am interested to see what's going to happen with that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've got to say, overall, for the first show done in Mumbai, I was pretty impressed. We are going to see next week Josh Matthews will have a sparring session in the middle of the ring, and we're also going to see Loki defend the title against Sanjay Dutt, which will make an interesting show next week.
I hope that's the main event.
What, Josh Matthews sparring?
No.
Yeah. I actually agree with you. I think the Loki and Sanjay Dutt should be the main event. I think it will be. I think they will push that as the main event. I've got to admit, today the show was good, but there was just a few little bits that could have been better.
Yeah, I feel like it was maybe a little above average or average. And the excitement factor, I think the best thing about it was the crowd and the excitement, and the best match was the Moose versus Lashley.
Yeah.
I think we need to see more out the next 3 weeks. I would have to probably give that show like a B-, maybe a B at the most.
Yeah.
I feel like I could have got more from what we've had in the past few weeks, and then the build up to India. This should have been like a knockout, a blowout show. For everything that what it was. I think we probably should have seen Mahabali this year in the first show. I'm not a Mahabali Shira fan or anything, but I mean, you gotta. Well, you did see Sanjay, so I guess you can make up for it with that. But we definitely need to see Mahabali Shira in this next show. We need to. I guess the Mahabali Shira and Braxton Sutter go along with that storyline with that. And but I think it was still a good solid show. But I definitely think for everything it is, and the first time being in India, it needs to be better than what it was on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I think it probably will be. So I'll give it like a B-, and still solid show. Good work, Impact Wrestling. But for everything, like I said, for all that it is, and it's to be groundbreaking the way that it is in history making, give us a little bit more. Give us a little bit more excitement. Throw us some Scott Steiner being that lead up to Slammiversary. Give us a whole pre-Slammiversary blowout to where we're like this on our seats waiting for Slammiversary. Make these Indian tapes some of the best tapes of the year.
Oh yeah, definitely. I totally agree with you. I believe the same markage. One question I do want to ask you: who do you believe is going to go in the Hall of Fame?
What do I believe? Not based upon what I've read already.
Yeah.
I believe the person that should go, I should say it would be Scott D'Amore. That's who I think deserves to go.
Do you know what? I wasn't even thinking on those lines, but yeah, that actually is a good point. I was actually thinking Abyss.
That's if there's going to be a talent, Abyss should be the next one to go in. Agree, because he's always done more than that. He's been completely loyal. He's on the creative team. He's always been a part of like the process. He's accepted all the roles. He's definitely a Hall of Famer in Impact Wrestling, 100%.
Or Mike Today.
James Storm.
What about Mike Today? He's officially retired now. He's given a long time into Impact Wrestling, even back to the Asylum days. He's one that is definitely deserves to be in there as well. True.
Talent-wise, I would have to say Abyss first and foremost, then James Storm after that. But when it comes to just overall, I think just like as a whole, as an Impact Wrestling, everybody, I think Scott D'Amore probably should go into the Hall of Fame next.
See, I am going to say Mike Today over Scott Moore. I really am, because, yeah, I definitely believe Mike Today should have the opportunity to go into that Hall of Fame, because, no offence to Scott Moore, yes, he does deserve it, but Mike Today was there from day one all the way through, where Scott Moore wasn't. So that's why I'm putting Mike Today over Scott Moore.
True.
When do you think we'll find out with Hall of Fame? Because I know they normally do it something at Slammiversary. That's why I'm surprised it hasn't been announced yet who's going into the Hall of Fame.
That's hard to say, because from what I read, and they wanted to announce James Storm to Hall of Fame, but he's saying he's not ready, so I don't know. Well, I'm pretty sure it'll be within the next week or two.
Yeah, I do. I think it would either be in India or over in social media, how they announce it. There are a few contenders. It is just a waiting game. You know, there are a lot of other guys that should be in the Hall of Fame, but we know they won't be because of their contracts with the WWE. Because there's loads of names I could throw out that I think should be in the Hall of Fame, but a lot of guys are on legend contracts and some are active in the WWE at the minute, so it won't be any of them guys. But
right, exactly.
We can keep guessing, but it is just going to be a wait and see. I'm trying to think if I've missed anything. No, I think
that's everything.
Yeah, there hasn't really been any news that's really come out or anything like that, has there?
No, there hasn't.
But the one thing is to remember is, don't believe David Meltzer. He talks out his backside, and we've had verification from people that were at the tapings that they paid for their tickets.
Yes, they paid for their tickets, and we're not directed to do a thing.
Precisely. I want to say big thanks for coming on today. And everybody watching, this is our new time slot, and we'll be staying with this time slot. I will be back on air tomorrow with Raw review, and actually this week we've got the next taping of the Impact at Mumbai, and also we've got No Surrender on Saturday.
Sound good. Hey, everybody, thanks for listening to this live stream, for watching it with us. We always enjoy your input. We enjoy your support. Let's continue to support Impact Wrestling and all of wrestling as a whole. I'd like to thank everybody. Of course, BQ from the Kingdom Mountain Podcast, the chef from Impact Head. Check them out, y'all. And also the Heelcast. And just everybody at Impact Fan Nation that helps to make it what it is, to help us be stronger, and everybody that helps that Slamdown, because, you know, without you all, there would be no us. And it's all about one thing, like Andre Corbill says, wrestling.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I want to say a big thank you to everyone that's watching. Big thank you to everyone that supports us and supports Impact Fan Nation. I will be back tomorrow doing the Raw review, so I've got the fun of trying to struggle to watch Raw and try and stay awake watching it at the moment. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all again soon.